Fight Chronicles MMA, exploring the mastery beyond the mayhem.
Welcome to my UFC 316 hot takes, where I throw logic out the window and swing for the fences like Joe Pyfer after leg day. From Mirab maybe finishing a fight, stop laughing, to Patchy Mix sending Mario Batista to the Shadow Realm in under 60 seconds. These takes are hotter than Alistair Overeem's piss pre-USADA. Okay, that's probably a lie. Could the prelims end faster than Sean O'Malley's raid? Probably not, but let's pretend anyways. I'm talking chaos, controversy, and just the right amount of delusion. Think Mario Batista is a lock? I don't. Think the prelims are safe from violence? I wouldn't bet your lunch money. Listen, we aren't here to be reasonable. We're here to stir the pot, kick the hornet's nest, and maybe convince you that Patchy Mix is the bald eagle sent to humble UFC hype, whatever that means. So, grab a drink, hit that like button, and brace yourself. Because when it comes to UFC 316, the line between genius and delusion is thinner than Mario Batista's finishing ability. This card might not be stacked, but these takes are swinging like it's the main event. Let's get into it. In at number 5, Wang Gong is about to deliver a striking masterclass. Some people might not call this a hot take, but given the internet's short term memory and love for calling fighters frauds after one bad night, it absolutely qualifies. Wang Kong came into the UFC like a walking highlight reel, nuking a debut opponent in just over a minute and instantly sending the MMA community into a she beat Valentina once frenzy. The hype was sky high. Then came the reality check. She got submitted by Gabriela Fernandez, who's 50-50 in the UFC and doesn't exactly have a BJJ black belt from Hogwarts. The hype train didn't just slow down, it derailed, caught fire, and fans were handing out fraud checked certificates like candy on Halloween. Now she's up against Ariane Lipski, a veteran with a serviceable ground game and enough fight IQ to not fall face first into a jab. Add in the fact that Lipski missed weight by 6 pounds, and the odds might seem stacked against Wang. But I think she's about to turn the doubters into believers again. Her feints, range control, and deceptively strict setups will leave Lipski swinging at air like she's shadowboxing a ghost. Her deeps, kicks, and that nasty counter hook in the pocket are going to be a menace all night long. Wang's toolbox is deep, and she might just bring home a bonus tonight. This is either going to be a 15-minute striking masterclass or a clean KO. Either way, hype resurrected. My next hot take. Mario Batista is about to get flatlined inside a round. Patchy Mix flatlining Mario Batista in the very first round at UFC 316 might sound like a wild reach, but honestly, it's not even that crazy when you break it down. Mix is like an anaconda in fight shorts. He doesn't need control time, setups, or any of the usual stuff. One slip, one bad scramble, and he's already halfway to choking your soul out. The guy's grappling instincts are freakish. His limbs are half octopus. And once he gets on your back, you're basically signing the I tried my best waiver. Now, Batista, bless him or slap him, your choice. Personally, I fear the latter option is tough, but his offense is more light jog on a treadmill than highway collision. He's not knocking anyone out of their socks, and his defense has serious problems. It's like a group project. One guy is doing all the work, and it's not him. If he gets overeager, overextends, or just breathes wrong, Mix is snatching something. And let's be real, when Patchy smells blood, he's not trying to win rounds. He's trying to ruin your night. Don't be surprised if this one looks more like a grappling demo than a fight. In at number 3, the prelims will all end in knockouts. The UFC 316 prelims might just be the best reason to show up early, or at least set 17 alarms so you don't miss absolute chaos. First off, Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. That's not a fight, it's a certified car crash. Bruno swings like he's mad at the air itself, and Van is smoother than your ex trying to slide back into your DMs. Slick counters, sharp footwork, and serious pop in his punches. I know this is a flyweight fight, but someone's face is getting rearranged. Then we've got Azamat Murzakanov versus Brenson Ribeiro. It's a miracle I got those two names right. Anyways, this is basically two dudes loading up kill shots like it's a video game. My money is on Murzakanov. He just seems to be more efficient and controlled on the feet. Whichever way it goes, don't blink. This one might last shorter than a McGregor retirement. Now, let's talk heavyweights. Spivak versus Cortez Acosta is a weird one. This could either be a snooze fest on the feet where both fighters don't throw anything or an unexpected delete from consciousness moment. Waldo's hands are fast, but Spivak can take him down and smother him for 15 minutes too. The more practical question is knockout or power nap time. And last but definitely not least, Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. This is a bar fight in a cage. Chaos has missiles for fists, and Andreas walks forward like head movement is for cowards. That man looks like a maniac and was born to scrap. His body seems to be made of something different. I don't know if it's to do with the bone density or what, but it's scary as hell. Honestly, if any of these fights go the distance, we ride. The next take. Kayla Harrison will beat Amanda Nunes this year. Look, say what you want about Kayla Harrison. I'll tell you this. She's throwing up lean, mean, and is about to throw Juliana Pena into next week. Everyone was worried about her weight cut to 135, which fair enough, she was basically a small SUV in her PFL days, but she seems to have figured it out. She's trimmed down, looks fine, and still has that scary judo strength. If Pena's plan is to make it a dogfight, well, good luck starting a dogfight when you're getting ragdolled across the cage. And while this fight is fun, the real excitement is what could come next, the Amanda Nunes fight. Amanda's been flirting with a comeback, and you already know that's the fight. Kayla's trained with her, knows her style, and isn't going to be starstruck. If anyone can take the fight to the lioness, it's Kayla. Her pressure, her grappling, her sheer strength. It's the kind of skill set that could seriously give Amanda problems. This might not just be a passing of the torch. Kayla might straight yank it out of Amanda's hands. Lastly, Mirab Dvalishvili may finish Sean O'Malley at UFC 316. Look, I get it. Picking Mirab to get a finish is like expecting your toaster to cook steak. The guy is not known for violence. He's known for the volume of takedowns he shoots and his cardio. It's not as if you have to survive a Mirab fight. You just gradually lose the will to escape it. But hear me out. Go rewatch the first O'Malley fight. There were moments, real ones, where Mirab nearly pulled off a submission like he suddenly remembered BJJ exists. That Bravo choke, that thing was cooked medium rare. A couple of maneuvers and we might have seen Sean tap. He also flirted with a guillotine in round 1 and even teased a schoolyard style headlock in round 4. The problem was that Mirab was treating submissions like bonus side quests. Optional, not urgent. This time though, he's coming in louder, bolder, and actively talking about hunting for the finish. O'Malley's habit of giving up his back like it's a party favor doesn't help either. And apparently Sean's been drilling jiu-jitsu more than takedown defense. That's like prepping dessert while your kitchen's on fire. If Mirab decides to stop cuddling and start cranking, we might witness a new mythical fighter. Mirab the finisher. I'm just saying, don't be surprised.
Fight Chronicles MMA. Signing off.